Okay, another thing we can do with our chocolate is make truffles. And I'm going to give you the recipe for this in a minute. I just got these out of the freezer. So these are called refrigerator or freezer truffles. And I have this really beautiful mold, if you can see that. It's got all kinds of shapes. And we're going to pop some out, and then we're going to put them right in the chocolate. All right, so what you do is you take your frozen little heart, or whatever it is, put it in the chocolate, and mix it around a little bit. Don't lose it in there. And then I have this big fork with nice big tines on it, which I like. So I can find that chocolate heart. Now, one key to making good chocolate too is that it's thick enough, it's cool enough that it's going to stick to your truffle. If it's so thin that it just comes right off, that's not good either. So what I'm going to do is use my handy dandy little offset spatula here and scoop that right on to the plate. Okay? And then we're just going to keep doing that with all our different shapes. You just tap it on the side a little bit to get that chocolate to come through. Make sure it's not still dripping when you move it over. The more solid frozen you can do them, the better. Here in Bali, things melt so quickly it doesn't take long for them to melt down. I also have a stable chocolate truffle filling that you don't even need to refrigerate, which you can also do. You can really do your favorite pudding, whatever you want to put inside. You can make a caramel out of dates and pine nuts and puree that and make a really nice caramel flavor, which you can put in the middle. So it's really up to you, whatever you want to put for your filling. I'm going to put that right there. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do all these because I need to set them back up in the freezer for a little bit. So this particular truffle filling that we're making right here calls for 1 1/8 cups of nut cream, which would be 3/4 cup of nuts blended with about 1 1/8 cups water. And then you strain that through the amazing nut milk bag or any kind of nut milk bag. And then you have a really thick nut cream. And I usually like to use almond milk or Brazil nut milk. And then you're going to add 6 to 7 tablespoons of honey, or you can use xylitol, coconut palm sugar, 7 ounces of cacao butter, and that's about a cup minus 2 tablespoons is 7 ounces. And then 3 vanilla beans with the inside scraped out, and 1/2 cup melted cacao butter. So you take all those ingredients and you blend it in a blender, and then you just pour it in a mold, freeze it, and then you can dip it in your chocolate. So those will be set up in a little bit. Another thing we can do is we can use strawberries. Oh, I love when strawberries are in season. You can take strawberries and just dip them right into this bowl, like so, drip it off. And then you can have a nice footprint underneath, let it sit, and it'll really be nice when it sets up. Just swirl it around. You can really use, of course, as you know, anything you want for dipping in strawberries. You can use dried fruits like dried figs. You can use fresh figs, are awesome. This is really great for a party when people are first coming in. Something like this, just a fresh piece of fruit with chocolate on it, so enticing. I served a bunch of these at a wedding one time, and we did white chocolate and dark chocolate, and it was just really gorgeous. So there's just, some people have done dried mangoes that they dip inside. Whatever you love to have with chocolate, you can put in there. I also do a dehydrated buckwheat that I like to mix in with my chocolate and make buckwheat crunch. It's like a Rice Krispie bar a little bit. Okay, so we've got chocolates there. We've got our truffles. I can see that they're already setting up. This one's already getting hard, so we'll probably put that in the fridge and let that set up for a little bit longer. I wanted to show you one more thing that you can make with this amazing chocolate. So with what's left of our chocolate, we can do something else. We can make clusters or haystacks. Those are really scrumptious, and that's something that you can just travel with or eat when you feel like you really want a nice hearty snack. So you take the same cacao chocolate mix that I'd already made, and you can add dried shredded coconut to it. And I'm going to add probably, it looks like about 2 cups there. I've also got some cacao nibs, which I also got from Big Tree Farms. Cacao nibs are basically, remember how I told you about the bean when I started making the chocolate? The whole bean that comes out of the cacao pod is dried, and then it's actually skinned, and it turns into these tiny little, they're called nibs. These add a really nice crunch to your chocolate. You can add that in. I think I'm gonna get a little exciting here and add some cayenne. I love spicy chocolate. Just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and mix this around. And this is what you would call a haystack. So I also could add things in here like spirulina powder or green powder. I know there's a moringa powder that's really new on the market. Big Tree Farms has that now too. You could add that into your chocolate. These are things you can add in as additional nutrients to get more nutrition out of your food without actually realizing you're eating something that's quote unquote healthy for you. So we like to have a lot of tricks here at the Academy that we teach you how to make food that tastes great, that's actually healthy for you. I tell people I trick them into eating more vegetables because we just make it taste so good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a 1 tablespoon measuring spoon and fill that up. We're going to have a variety of chocolates. So if I was having a party tonight, which I think I might do now, I'd have to call some friends up. We'll just go ahead and put that on the plate, and then there'll be a nice variety of different flavors and kinds of chocolate. Can you see how beautiful that's turning out? I love it. I'm excited. You can also make your chocolate sweeter just by adding some stevia. If you've never heard of stevia, what it is it comes from a leaf, and it's a very sweet leaf. It's 200 times sweeter than sugar, and so it comes in an extract or a powder, and you can add that into your chocolate or into anything that you want to make sweeter without actually having to spike your insulin levels or put any more sweet foods in. You can make it sweeter by doing that. So we're just going to make a nice, lovely little tray here and set these up in the fridge. And what's great about all these chocolates, except for these refrigerator truffles, is that you can have them out at room temperature at a party and they're not going to melt. These are actually the kind of chocolates you would get at a chocolate store, but they're much healthier. A couple more things I can do is I can take, this is another mold. If you look at it from the back, that kind of shows you what the chocolate will look like. If I put the haystacks in there, they'll come out in a little bit different shape, so I can do that as well. Just kind of smush them in. It's almost like making cookies in a way. You're just kind of filling them in, and then you're not baking them, you're refrigerating them. And they're going to be really yummy. So what else can I tell you about chocolate? Really, the sky is the limit. Chocolate actually creates a release in our body that's similar to falling in love, and I think that's why we like it so much and why we feel so good when we eat it. So what I tell people is be responsible with your chocolate eating. Just because it's healthy for you doesn't mean that you should just go crazy and eat it all the time. You want to balance it out with green foods and healthy, nutritious vegetables and other things. However, chocolate is a great way to satisfy your sweet tooth and a lot of your other cravings without having to go and eat, a lot of cooked starches or things like that. What I love about this is you can make your own chocolates at home and have complete control over exactly what you're adding in. I made some other chocolates while we were waiting, and these are stevia flavored chocolates. Some people can't have any sweetener like I mentioned. So since all I had on hand was some stevia, I put orange essential oil in and stevia essence into that extra cacao paste that I had melted. So now those of us here that aren't eating any sugar have a nice treat we can have as well. So there we go. We've got a nice, beautiful, lovely plate full of chocolates. And this is something you can serve at a party. People would probably think you just bought it somewhere and took it out of the box. And so we've got our haystacks here, our refrigerator truffles, and our flavored chocolates. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today. And I hope that you go on your own chocolate making adventure and have fun enjoying your creations, whatever it is you make. And be well, be healthy. Thank you for joining me. That's good.